Hey guys, in today's video we will be cooking some horse meat, but before that let me shout a big announcement because I am changing this for this. Yay, a LiChess interface. So why? Well, the reason number one, we are all more familiar with this, be honest. The reason number two, you get to see the most played moves in any given position, which is something I always wanted to be able to have in my videos. The reason number three, now you can hear when I move the pieces around. Whoa, how cool is that? The reason number four, I bought a new microphone. You may be like, what does that get to do with anything? Well, nothing, but you'll heard me better. And the reason number five, now I get to draw the arrows that actually snap to grid. How cool is that? And I'm using my mobile phone. Now you may be like, what? Drawing arrows on my phone doesn't work on LiChess. Well, guess what? This was all possible thanks to this guy. His name is Total Noob, but he's actually a genius in disguise. He wrote me a message a few days ago talking about the LiChess tools. You see, he's a guy who likes to write codes, and he wrote one that simply boosts your LiChess website to have like 20 new features. Starting with little practical details, for example this Me button in the Explorer, when you click on that, you get to see your own games in any given position, and then you can switch back to LiChess database just like that. So cool! And then there are these big features that my brain is just too small to even comprehend, but you know what? You go check it out, the links are in the description and it is all for free. By the way, this guy Total Noob, he's very open to any suggestions and feedback. He was like, tell me, what kind of feature would you like to have? And I said, well, I would like to be able to draw arrows on my mobile phone. And then 5 minutes later, with a snap of a finger, there I am drawing arrows all over the place. So make sure you check out his work because it is really awesome. Now with that being said, let's move on to have some chess fun. Like I mentioned, we are going to be cooking some horse meat and we will start with pawn to e4 and we need our opponents to continue with knight to f6, the Alekhine defense. Here we are going to heat up the flames under the horse with pawn to e5. And of course they will play knight to d5. Now a simple pawn to d4, and most guys, like more than 60%, will play pawn to d6. Here we are going to continue harassing the knight with bishop to c4, and more than 60% of the players will play knight to b6, counter-hitting our bishop, which we will park on b3. This is all known theory and it's called the Balok variation of the Alekhine defense, and most guys here are going to grab this pawn, and in my previous video I suggested to move pawn to c3 and then I followed it up with knight to f3. But I figured out if you switch the move order of these two moves, you get a position that is just so much more trickier to handle for black. So here I would suggest the move knight to f3, and this is the starting position of the meat gambit. Meat as in make the enemy's Alekhine tremble. So there are three most played moves in this position. Obviously the most played one is simply accepting the gambit and capturing on d4. Now you can respond with pawn to c3. And the trap is if they capture this pawn, you hit them with bishop captures on f7 and they will lose their queen like this. If you want to be savage, you can also play knight to c3 and this will also be a winning position for white. But that is only recommended in the bullet, I guess. Alright, so that was if they accept the gambit. Then the second most played move is bishop to g4, creating a pin on your knight, which is also a losing blunder thanks to this move, but more about it later. And the third most played move is simply pawn to e4, harassing your knight. There are many funny lines in this meat gambit, but I would like to share with you the most funny one in this video, and it starts with this move pawn to e4. So usually it is a good idea to harass your opponent's knight with your e-pawn when given the opportunity, but in this case it is not so good, and I would suggest that you continue with knight to e5. And here black has only one move to play, because obviously we are threatening to just capture on f7. I need to practice these arrows. And what I like about this is also that black, with playing the most natural moves and the obvious moves, will get into very tricky line. So let me show you. So of course here they need to play pawn to e6 to block our bishop from capturing. And now we can continue with knight to c3. So with this we are creating a threat of capturing our pawn back and equalizing the material. And of course, most black people, most black players will try to stop us from doing this. And the most played move is bishop to b4 to pin our knight, so we cannot capture the pawn. Here we are simply going to get castled. This renews the threat of capturing the pawn. And obviously they want to prevent that, so they will capture the knight, giving up their dark square bishop and also damaging our pawn structure. Yeah, so it's kind of an appealing thing to do. Well, in this position, most guys, and I mean 7 out of 8, got castled because it's so natural thing to do, right? But it's not a very good move here. And the problem for black is they kind of have no pieces here to guard the king, and we have like a bishop and a queen and a knight, and this bishop, whoops, spoiler alert, to join the attack. Yeah, so we play bishop to a3. Now we are hitting the rook. So yeah, the rook is going to move. There is nothing to block this attack with. So rook goes to e8. Now we are going to continue with queen to h5. With this we are suddenly creating a strong attack and we are hitting this f7 pawn. And there is not really a great way for black to deal with this. For example, a natural queen to f6 doesn't work at all and they will get smashed. I ran the engines for a while and they were deciding between g6 or f6, and then I believe f6 was the most correct move here, trying to cook our knight. And this is the start of a really funny engine line. So just sit back and enjoy this. Because now we are going to show our opponents how to properly use the f-pawn. And we will play pawn to f4. So letting them cook our knight, and it is the best move for them to capture this. And now we go pawn to f5. What a funny situation we have on the board. In this position, the engine is saying the best move for black is to move the king out of this spin and go king to h8. Alright, engine, thanks. Now we will continue with, yes, you guessed it, pawn to f6. At this point they just got to grab this pawn, and now they have created this funny Tetris-like structure. And here we are going to, sacrifice.
You guessed it, the rook!
Well, calm down, Levi. It's not really a sacrifice because we can pick up their rook next turn. Alright, so this is a check and the king has to go to this square. And now we will bring our rook to the f-file, hitting their queen. They cannot move the queen anywhere. If they move it somewhere, it's totally losing for black. The only shot for black here is to counter-attack our queen with bishop to d7. But here we are able to give this in-between check with bishop to f8 check. The king is forced yet again to the corner. And now we save our queen with playing queen back to h5. Once again, if you notice, their queen is being hit, but they cannot move it anywhere. Otherwise, it is a forced checkmate. If they move the queen here, it is forced checkmate in 12 moves, I believe. But anyways, The only correct move here is to play bishop to e8, hitting our queen once again, but this just simply hangs a bishop and we are going to grab it. So we won our piece back, and now, well, their queen is still being under attack. What can they do? They still cannot move the queen. What they need to do now is develop this knight somewhere. Doesn't matter if c6 or d7, the point is now the rook is hitting our queen. We should grab this rook. They should grab our rook. Oops. It is a check. We recapture, and now they recapture our queen. And we end up in this position where we have two bishops and they have two knights. And we have 6 pawns and they have 6 pawns. Yeah, my observation skills are on the point. But anyways, the white is winning here because bishop pair is just much stronger than two knights in this sort of positions. So, did you like this gambit? Leave me some feedback in the comment section, please. Would you like to see a video covering all the lines and all the traps? Did you try the LiChess tools and did you enjoy it? Please leave a feedback in the comment section. What do you think the size of the universe is? Also write that down. Seriously guys, I would love to hear from you and what you think. So don't hesitate. Also give this video a like if you enjoyed it. And yeah, I hope I will see you in the next one.